Morning folks. So, I was at work last night. My shift partner for the week says to me, "Oh, I see Tyson Fury's retired." Now this guy, to be fair, in his defence, he knows not a huge amount about boxing, but he'd obviously seen it somewhere on the internet that Tyson Fury's announced his retirement yet again. So I just kind of nonchalantly said, "Yeah, again." He says to me, "What do you mean again?" So I explained the whole saga, and it just got me thinking, does anybody really give a fuck anymore? Does anybody out there really care whether Tyson Fury fights again or not? Because it seems to be almost a monthly pattern at the moment. Since the Usyk fights especially. He retired in January or whatever, February. Then he said he was coming back a couple of weeks ago when Dubois was knocked out by Usyk. He said he was coming back. There was a video of him jogging, saying, yeah, I'm coming for you, Usyk, the trilogy fight and all this. A trilogy fight that no one wants, apart from him, apparently. Because I certainly don't want to see it, because I don't think it's warranted. He lost back-to-back to the guy. He was very nearly stopped in the first fight. And I still maintain that if the referee hadn't jumped in that first fight, Fury would have been stopped by Usyk, but there you go. Excuse me. And this isn't just a recent thing. I mean, how many times has the guy retired? I mean, he beat Klitschko, it'll be 10 years ago this year. Brilliant. Won the unified title, it was first, good win for him, but the fight was fucking dog shit. Some people, revisionists, have kind of built the fight up as this big epic battle to topple the long reigning Ukrainian heavyweight champion, and it's fucking dog shit. It's boring. It's a bore fest. It put me to sleep on the night. I've tried to watch it back since, and it puts me to sleep. Take nothing away from Fury. He deserved the win, and it was an epic win and a monumental win for him. But the fight was just fucking boring dog shit, in my opinion. Then he disappeared for 3 years after testing positive for nandrolone. Him and his cousin tested positive, and then they blamed it on uncastrated wild boar meat, which is one of my favourite excuses. It's right up there with Conor Ben and his eggs. So then you had that. So he disappeared for 3 years, came back, fought a few bums, fought to a draw with Deontay Wilder, which is a fight, despite him being dropped twice in it, he should have won. Then he beat Wilder in the rematch, absolutely dominated him, destroyed him, took the WBC belt off him, and then proceeded to hold the fucking thing pretty much hostage for a few years. 4 years, because yes, he fought Wilder in a rematch, and it was an epic fight, but it was probably a fight that didn't need to happen, but it was a good fight, so nothing wrong with that. Then he beat Dillian White in 2022, and then said he was going to retire because he promised his wife he would never fight again. He even made £1 million bet with Piers Morgan, who is another piece of shit, but they made a bet that he would never fight ever again. £1 million bet. By December that year, he was back in the ring with Derek Chisora. Again, a fight nobody wanted, a trilogy nobody fucking wanted, and won. And they charged record pay-per-view numbers for that, him and Frank Warren, which was a disgrace, in my opinion. Then he fiddled and farted around and avoided Usyk like the plague. He didn't want to fight Usyk. We all know he didn't want to fight Usyk. He did everything in his power to avoid fighting Usyk or AJ or anybody that would give him a problem at the time. And then he opted for a big money bash with Francis Ngannou, the MMA fighter. And a fight that which was a non-title fight, by the way, so he didn't defend his title since Chisora. He didn't defend that title between December 2022, and May 2024. Didn't defend it at all, so should have been stripped, but wasn't. He held that belt hostage. Then he very nearly, very nearly went wrong against Francis Ngannou, who was a debutant to boxing, by the way, pro boxing. And then he was had a big pile of money dumped in front of him by the Saudis. Then agreed to fight Usyk, lost to him back to back. Then he retired, and as I say, now he's unretired, and now he's retired again. But every time he makes these announcements, I see less and less people giving a fuck. Now, before, you'd get all the Tyson Fury hangers-on, ball suckers, saying, oh, it's such a shame, oh, my hero, oh. But then when he'd announced he was coming back, they'd all wank themselves fucking red raw with excitement. But now I'm finding more and more indifference to it. I know a couple of guys who are big, huge Tyson Fury fans. I'm related to one of them. And even he's got to the stage now where he just says, boring. It's one of my cousins. Huge Tyson Fury fan. And even now he sits there and he says, boring, change the record. Because he's sick of hearing it. And he used to defend Tyson Fury to the fucking hilt, but he doesn't anymore. Because he's sick to death of him, he's bored of him. And it is boring. It's boring. It's every week. It seems to be every week. He's coming out of retirement. Now he's retiring. Never see me in a ring again. Next week. Oh yeah. Come on, Usyk. Let's have a third fight. Fuck off. Just fuck off. I was scrolling through on Instagram the other day and there was a post, I think it was on the Sky Sports boxing one. Tyson Fury announced his retirement. Yeah, again. Most of the comments underneath were like I'm saying here, boring, who cares, fuck off already, go away, you know. And there was one guy, and it just amused me. Now, I always say, everyone's entitled to their opinions, which is absolutely cool. But this one guy, he put on there, how can you people be so horrible about Tyson Fury? He's saved boxing. When did this clown save boxing? If anything, he's hindered it, in my opinion. You know, he held that fucking WBC belt hostage. He bitched out after he beat Klitschko nearly a decade ago. Wouldn't give him the rematch, pulled out with a supposed injury. Or was it a foot injury, ankle injury? But then was seen jumping up and down at the football like that week. So clearly was lying. You know, he tells lies about everything. You can't. It's to the stage where you can't fuck. If he told me it was sunny outside, I'd have to go and have a look. He's that fucking. I don't trust anything he says. Like I say, he disappeared. He tested positive. That all gets. See, everyone has a go at Ben, and everyone has a go at Dillian White for their failures. But no one ever mentions Canelo Alvarez or Tyson Fury, and I find that curious because they both tested positive. They both failed tests. They've both come up with bullshit excuses, like was it the Mexican tainted meat and the wild boar, uncastrated wild boar meat, which is that's what I say. That's up there with Conor Benn's eggs excuse. I just find it fascinating. The guy's full of shit. The guy's a scumbag, a criminal. Like, not a criminal, but you know, it's just the lies and stuff. It's like, come on, man. And people still fucking fall for it. The gaslighting, the bullshit. The avoiding big fights until he gets a big giant pile of money dumped in front of him, you know. So he held that WBC belt hostage after he beat Wilder. You know, it's just... And, you know, the crying and whining after the 2 times he lost to Usyk. You know, he clearly lost those fights. You know, he had his moments in them. I'm not saying he was dominated or anything. But he clearly lost them. But he still whines and cries about it like a bitch. Just shut the fuck up. You know, I know it's hard for a fighter, especially one who was undefeated, we see it every day. It must be fucking soul destroying to lose a big fight like that. But he lost. You know, lots of people lose. You know, it's just one of those things. And, you know, the weird Happy New Year comment after the first fight in May, for fuck's sake. And, he just hindered it. He held the division up. He wouldn't fight AJ when AJ was a world champion. He wouldn't fight fucking Usyk for a long time. He wouldn't fight anybody else, apart from his little hand-picked people that he knew wouldn't give him problems, like Dillian White, who at the time was washed up, in my opinion, and Derek Chisora, who was definitely washed up at that point. He would only fight people that wouldn't give him problems, and that's holding the division up. So how this few little clusters of Tyson Fury fanboys are still hanging on? They still hang on to every pubic hair. They're hanging on by his pubes. Please, Mr. Tyson, please don't retire. And I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal to the guy. I mean, I've never found him particularly witty or clever, with his insults and things. I've said all this before in other videos. Even that bores me when you start. It's the same old thing. You big dosser, you big shithouse. All the little middleweight, all this stuff, and it's just not clever. And when he's threatening to smash people's faces in and stuff, he just sounds like the local cokehead standing outside of Witherspoons in your local town on a Friday night, shouting, who's had too much gear and too much drink, just shouting and screaming and threatening everybody. That's exactly what he sounds like to me. So I don't particularly give a shit that he says he's retiring again. I say good riddance to the bloke. That's me. And I've made comments about his behaviour. And people say to me, "Oh, you should be more sympathetic to him. He's mentally ill. He's bipolar." I don't care. That's not an excuse to be a cunt. It isn't. I suffer with depression. I'm a depressive person. I have depression. I've had several massive major bouts of depression in my life, as I'm sure many of you who are listening to me have. Various other mental issues over the years. But it's not an excuse to act like a cunt to people, to mistreat people and to lie and to be a scumbag. And I hate that more than anything. Yeah, I've done some questionable stuff when I've been at my lowest points in time. I've made questionable decisions, but I've never fucking blamed it on that. At the end of the day, it was me. I did it. I said some things that I shouldn't have done. It's just one of those things. We've all been there. We've all been there. We've all been at low points in our lives, and you've said things or done things that you regret. But you don't make excuses for it, and you don't blame it on that. We could all pull that shit. Oh, well, I'm depressed. I actually used to work with a guy years ago when I worked for Raw Mail, and he was caught fucking burning mail because he was fucking too lazy to deliver it. I mean, what kind of person does that? He was burning people's mail. And his excuse when he got caught was, "Oh, well, I'm going for a bout of depression." Guess what? That didn't fucking wash either. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll get pissed off with it when he uses his. It's a crutch. It's an excuse to be a cunt. It's just license to be an asshole. Oh well, I'm bipolar, ain't I? I mean, even Frank Warren, when people have pulled him up and said, "Oh, why is Tyson Fury acting like a prick?" basically. And he always says, "Well, it's not his fault, is he? He's bipolar, isn't he? You can't help it, he's bipolar." It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse to be a prick, to be an arsehole to people. It's just not. Anyway, this rant has gone on long enough. It's gone on longer than I expected it to. But yeah, I don't particularly give a shit about whether... I wish he would retire. Just fuck off. Just retire and go away. Don't come back in a week's time and tell me you're coming back, because I'm not fucking interested. What do you think, though? Are you interested if Tyson Fury comes back? Let me know. But anyway, there's enough out of me. Take care, folks, and I'll speak to you soon.